I played Lost Sword for a bit more than a week, and here's my honest thoughts on it as a side game. So, Lost Sword is a idle auto battler with 2D sprites that look a lot like Epic 7 and high quality live 2D art. There's a lot of different progression systems in the game, and most of them are pretty simple. So, your main job is just to make decisions on team building and team upgrading. So the most obvious thing is that the characters are extreme fanservice. The story also feels kind of like a self-aware, ecchi anime from a decade ago. It also has a bunch of raunchy character interactions and a dating sim style affinities. Okay, so what did I like about the game? First of all, quality of life is pretty fantastic. You can run battles in the background while managing menus, upgrading characters, dismantling gear, and even summoning. Also, while you're battling in the background, it automatically moves to the next stage after a win. The 2D sprites are also very expressive, and the game is pretty generous overall. I got hundreds of free pulls in my first week, and it's constant fire hose of dopamine from non-stop progression. You're always upgrading characters, you're always changing gear, and you're always going through the other systems. Plus, surprisingly, there's already a starter guide on Pridewind, and they even have a bunch of tier lists, which is a huge help for people who's just starting off. Now let's get to what I didn't like about the game. For an idle game, it actually demands a lot of babysitting. Each auto battle session is pretty short because you're constantly switching between different types of content, resource dungeons, or event stages and story stages. And when you're doing the story stages, you're constantly stuck at dialogue that you have to read through or skip through. And because the battles aren't very engaging anyways, as with all these idle games, I just didn't really feel that pulled into the combat at all. And I solved every bottleneck I came across just by linearly progressing my gear or upgrading my characters. By the way, the amount of daily stuff to go through is actually pretty long for a game like this. Alright, so who is this game actually for? I think you'll love Lost Sword if you're looking for constant small dopamine hits from managing a few dozen different progression systems and upgrading characters, and if you enjoy extreme Gooner bait character design. But if you want something more interactive or engaging, then I would say look elsewhere. So those are just my thoughts on the game. Hope this was helpful to you, and don't forget to subscribe.